guys, welcome back to Swords and Stitches. As our grand reopening, we are going to be doing a project that I've actually wanted to do for a really long time. It is made out of pallet wood and pipes. So today we're going to make this table.
Oh, hey bro,
Oh,
how's
hey,
it going? Just enjoying some King beer.
Some King Cola.
On my sweet Monster Hunter table.
I know, right? So this is exactly what we're going to be making. This was our prototype, and it turned out really cool. We burned a Monster Hunter design into the top.
Good detail.
The entire top part is made out of one pallet, and then we bought some pipes and actually aged them. Aside from these little corner bits that never got done.
I thought I would try it out stylistically, not because I was lazy and forgot or anything.
But it's cool because you can see like what the pipes look like before they're aged and what they look like when they're aged. So it's going to be a big project. There's going to be a lot going on, but the final product is going to be pretty sweet, and I'm really excited to share it with you because, again, I've wanted to do this for so long. I'm really happy with the outcome.
Yeah. Well, let's get to planning.
Yeah, let's get to planning. We can just stay here.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so here's the plan. First, we get a normal wood pallet. Then, we have to disassemble it to its components. So that's going to give us a bunch of 2x4s, which are the bigger ones, and 1x4s, which are the flatter ones on top. Just be aware that the wood is probably going to be beaten up, so there's going to be a lot of variance in size. Then we're going to cut the 1x4s into pieces that we need for the top, and the 2x4s into pieces we need for the table's frame underneath. And what we're going to be left with, what we want out of this pallet, are 7 1x4s cut down to about 18 inches, and 4 2x4s cut down to indeterminate lengths depending on what everything looks like once you're making the frame. Then we're going to assemble that into the top of a table-like shape and burn out the design onto the top, put some legs on it, and that's our table. I mean, that's kind of an oversimplification, but it's always good to have a plan.
The first part of this process is going to be dealing with your pallet. Pallets are super in.
So
If you've been on Pinterest or anything else like that in the last couple of years, you know that you can basically take a pallet and turn it into like anything. It's great because you're upcycling something and you're getting exactly what you want out of it, and you made it with your own 2 hands, which is what we're all about here. You can find them in a lot of different places. You can go to grocery stores and be like, yo, you got pallets? You can go to construction places and be like, yo, dogs, you got pallets? Or you can find them on the side of the road, which is what
we did with this one. But one thing, when you're hunting pallets, you want to be sure, because pallets are treated for insects, and you want to look for pallets that have an HT on the wood. This lets you know that they've been treated with heat rather than, sometimes you'll find ones that say MB, and you don't want those because that's methyl bromide, which is an insecticide but also causes cancer, and it's generally not something you want in your house.
It's just something you don't want it in your house. You don't want to be working with it and heating it up and breathing it in like
we're about to.
Just don't do that. Only use heat-treated stuff, all right?
All right.
Cool, let's break this apart.
I like to use this Wonder Bar. You have to be careful not to, you're gonna want to be careful not to split the wood. So usually just kind of apply some gentle pressure. Ooh,
Yeah, that's the biggest danger with taking apart a pallet, is that you're gonna find a lot of wood that has splits like this in it already. So you want to be really careful with it because you want to save as much wood as you can for whatever project you're working on, and make sure that you keep it in as good a condition as possible.
Slowly. Don't try to take too much at once, or you're gonna end up with, see, and then once the nails pop out like that, pull them out, no splits.
You're gonna find a lot of pallets that have wood that has just like tons of nails in it. Like sometimes the nails have been sawed off, but you just can't tell what nails are actually in the wood, and that's when it gets a little confusing. Fortunately on this one, it's pretty straightforward. It looks like there's 3 to 4 nails in all of the different spots, so that's gonna make it a lot easier for us, but you're probably gonna find one someday where you're like, what is this? Like, this is just, I don't know what to do with this. So you just have to be patient, you just have to work with it.
Nice.
You're just like throwing your nails all over the place.
Nice.
Sick.
All right, so there's our first sketchy board.
Perfect.
Back up with you. There we go. When you're cutting this, you don't want to like have your saw run into a nail. It's bad news. So we're also going to use these 2x4s as the bottom of the table, so it's important to clean all the little nails and bits out of these as well before you use them.
Yeah, just make sure that, like, we're using the whole pallet, right? We're using the 2x4s and we're using the stuff on top. So make sure that you keep all of the wood, keep it all available to you, because you never know when you're gonna ruin one of them and be like, no, I wish I had that other wood. So just keep it all around, because that's one of the beauties of this project, is you get to use all of it.
It's clean!
So the next thing that we're gonna do is cut these down to 19 inches. So you're gonna find the cleanest parts of the boards, you're gonna measure them out to 19 inches, make sure that any nails are gone for like a final time, because this is your last chance. So make sure all of the nails are gone, measure them all out to 19 inches, and then saw them. You can use a hand saw. We fortunately have an electric saw that is great, so it'll be a lot quicker. But a handsaw works just as well, especially since this wood is so thin. So that's gonna be the next part.
And make sure to wear protection.
Wear protection!
All right, here you go.
So when you're using an electric saw like this, I don't know if this is like a legit thing to do, but this is always what I do. Whatever line you have drawn, you're gonna line up the laser along your drawn line, but I also like to take this down and make sure which side of the blade is gonna be along that line, because that way you know exactly how to make sure every board is precisely the same. So right now I have that laser right along there. I'm gonna put my sick mask on.
Sick mask, bro.
My sick mask. I'm gonna put my safety goggles on, and now I'm probably the hottest lady in the world. So let's do this thing. All of this wood was in that pallet, aside from that one piece of wood that we threw away because it was a mega jank ball. Oh man! But all the rest of this is perfectly usable wood that we're going to turn into the tabletop. So the next part of the process is get rid of those, because those are going to hopefully become the shelf that we're adding on.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to arrange the wood and see what order we want it in.
Yeah, that's
super weird.
well, it's got the end is like red.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
they
This end
must
is
have
blue
marked it.
too, huh?
Oh, remember we cut one in half?
That's right. I do remember that.
All right, that was tricky, but we did it.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we do that?
I guess so. Which one should we cut in half? Unfortunately, these don't span the full length of all of these boards that we have. So we're just choosing one that has a really gross half, and we're gonna cut it down to the right size. This one has some kind of like beat up nonsense going on.
Yeah,
inside
this
of
one
it.
is seems better. Wait, which half are we gonna use?
Oh, we should cut off this half. This
Are you
half,
sure?
Yeah, this half. The destruction goes in deeper though on that side.
Oh, I guess that's true. This is a much nicer piece, so okay, so we'll use these two pieces as the outside.
Okay.
That seems pretty legit, right? It's relatively straight. So now the question is that a good straight line?
Yeah, I'll measure it. Because last time we didn't have that many problems with being level, but I think that we can make it even better this time around. This is where it's really important to remember where the laser is and which side the blade is on.
One thing that Brooke is doing that I thought was really clever is like when you have to cut a piece twice like this, she just starts the saw down in the wood already. Rather than just using the laser, she'll just move the wood to where the saw.
Yeah, just figure out where
the saw is going into the wood, and then that becomes the line. And then she starts it in the wood, because I totally just used the laser and it came out like that, and it looked super lame.
There we go. Okay.
That's a nice straight cut. Sort of. We can sand it.
Got a little nonsense in there, but it's okay. Figure it out. Yeah, let's just do that.
Let's double check that these are good. Oh, that saves us from having to cut these too. Doing it that way, right? Mm. Nice.
So now we just need to figure out this gap.
Yep. So pro tip, sometimes tape measures are a little harder to use. So you get a fabric tape measure, and they're soft. It's like a squishy ruler. Okay. Just two, right? So the whole tape, oh, but that would lose a lot of character.
It would lose character, yeah. I'm okay with the edges being like a little all over the place. We're gonna be attaching all of the smaller pieces to our 2x4 frame. So the best way that we found to do this is actually to clamp them together. So you kind of like shimmy this whole thing out to the edge and then clamp it one board at a time. Pretty sure there's a better way to do this. We just don't know what it is, and this worked out really well for us. So this is how we're gonna do it this time. So now that we've got it clamped, we're going to actually put the two together. So first we have to make pilot holes before we can actually drill the screws in. So I've got my little pilot hole screw, and then here's the actual screw. You can kind of tell that they are about the same size. You always want what you're drilling a pilot hole with to be the same size or smaller. You definitely don't want it bigger because then the screw will just fall out. So we're gonna go one by one, like I said, we're gonna go board by board by board and put 2 screws in each one. And on these corners, we're going to try to leave space for the fastening that we're using for the actual legs. So we're actually going to do 2 diagonals like this, and the rest are going to be side by side. All right, let's do it. You want to make sure that you're not going to drill through the top of this table, right? So you're actually going to want to like line it up along the side and figure out how deep you need to go in order for your screws to be keeping everything together, but not going straight up through all of the wood. So what we actually did, it's kind of faint now, but we made a little line right there so that I know that once I get to that line when I'm screwing, that's where I need to stop. Our completed tabletop. Well, without the sick design and the sealant or anything like that. But like this is a usable tabletop. So this took us 2 hours?
About 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Not 2 hours.
Not too long. And I'm excited to do the rest of it. But this is the end of the first video of this entire process. So we hope that you will come back and watch how we do the rest of it. And thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah. Let's get some lunch.
Yeah, man. Woo!
No, go back and pose. Yeah. It's clean. Did you cut off my head?
No, you're good.